Thank you, Interim President Andy. Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be introducing our speaker today, Vicki Puliz. From humble beginnings, she committed her career to learning and growing from the outset. In fact, she was raised working on cattle ranches in the area north of Reno, Nevada, and attended public schools, continued her education at the University of Utah, leading eventually to a master's degree in business administration. Her business career started out as a commercial lighting representative, eventually leading to becoming the one-third owner of Electrotech Incorporated, an electrical contracting company. Vicki is recognized for extensive leadership experience within Rotary, including many senior training and leadership positions with Rotary International. She served as the Rotary International Director from 2021 to 2023 and has been recently selected as a trustee of the Rotary Foundation, Rotary International Foundation, for a 4-year term beginning this July. Notably, Vicki is a strong advocate for expanding how Rotary can become an even greater force in building peace around our world and in our communities. She is a positive peace activator, trained through the partnership of Rotary with the Institute for Economics and Peace. Please welcome Vicki Puliz.
Thank you so much, Lee. Hello, Rotary family and friends. It's so good to be here with you for your leadership series and my compliments on your focus on leadership. Leadership is vital to Rotary. It's one of our core values, and I believe it's an essential element in our success in how we accomplish our vision, which I know you all know. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And in fact, when people ask me what Rotary is, I respond with the statement that Rotary is a leadership organization. If you're like me, it can be difficult to explain Rotary in a sentence or two when someone asks you about Rotary. Although I do notice your really good answer on your club website. There's just so much depth and breadth to our amazing organization that I find describing Rotary as a service organization, I don't think that does justice. And I don't think it encompasses the big picture of what we do. Although certainly serving others is a big reason we are all part of Rotary. So I say we're a leadership organization, a global and local network of business, professional, and other community leaders who come together to form friendships, to exchange ideas on how to make our communities better. And then we get things done as people of action. Now, I didn't join Rotary, and I don't think you did either, to simply be volunteers to carry out whatever project the organization was conducting. We bring our own ideas, our own resources, connections. We bring our own passions to determine how we want to impact our community and how we want to change lives for the better. Each of our clubs and members determine how they want to make a difference. And if we look at Rotary as a whole, polio eradication is our one and only corporate project. And the polio eradication program actually started with members and clubs. And it's one way that Rotary is positioned as a leader on the world stage. So I think leadership becomes a very important quality for Rotary members. Leadership in our community and within our club, in addition to in our business and profession. And I have to say, I think membership in Rotary gives an advanced degree in leadership. There are so many opportunities to develop, to practice, to refine our own leadership skills. It's all about what we can accomplish together. And at the same time, we're all equals. We definitely have our own opinions, and none of us gets a paycheck in Rotary. Our ability to communicate, to engage our members, to build teams, to innovate, and to get results working shoulder to shoulder with other Rotary members and also with other community leaders and organizations, fine-tunes all of our leadership talents and opens opportunities for new experiences. Maybe this includes serving in your club as a project chair, a club officer, serving as interim club president today. Maybe it includes serving at your district or beyond. Each role in our Rotary world gives us more ways to develop and to grow. My personal experience is that saying yes leads to amazing friends across our Rotary world and many fulfilling experiences. This also means that leadership development is an important benefit of Rotary membership. We might ask ourselves, how could we help provide mentor relationships with experienced leaders who are part of Rotary to those who may want mentoring? We can ask ourselves, how can we provide additional education to complement our on-the-job leadership development in our clubs? And we can ask ourselves, how can we create more awareness about this amazing benefit of Rotary membership? So I think your series of leadership meetings is definitely one way to expand this menu of providing leadership development skills, discussion, and learning for our members and others. In response to this desire for more educational support for leadership development in Rotary, a program was started in my region, which is the western part of the United States and a small part of Canada, based on servant leadership. The program was created by Jerry Hall, who's a former vice president of Rotary International, along with Kent Keith, who was an executive with the Greenleaf Institute and is currently a professor at a university in Honolulu. The program was developed during COVID, and it's in an online format. So this program was initially adopted by a district in the Pacific Northwest, and they added mentoring to the 5 weeks of online learning. And then another district in the Denver area adopted it and added an in-person mix and mingle to kick off the online program. Later, another district adapted the program to be delivered in person over a 2-day weekend. There are 8 additional districts who are investigating how they might implement the program to best serve their members. The overriding tenet of servant leadership is to serve first and approach leadership with a collaborative mindset. Servant leadership has key practices, which you might describe as soft skills: self-awareness, listening, empathy, coaching, collaboration, conceptualization, that all respect and prioritize the needs and development of others. Servant leaders find ways to empower their teams to reach goals, drive meaningful change, and help the club or organization succeed. In one of my favorite segments that was highlighting empathy, there's a video of Simon Sinek, and he is shown as stating, leadership is not being in charge, it's taking care of the people in your charge. I love that quote. This approach engages people in personal growth and creating a shared vision, which works really well in Rotary, but also works really well in business and in personal situations. Using the principles of servant leadership, leadership begins with the desire to serve and the desire to help others grow, along with reaching goals. Certainly, you would agree that this is aligned with being part of Rotary and our motto of service above self. I think leadership development and skills are benefits that our members want and can be reasons why people join Rotary, particularly as we're seeing fewer companies providing the robust leadership training programs of the past. This is a topic to explore with your members and potential members to see if this is a need in our Rotary experience. Additionally, as members of Rotary, we use our leadership skills to benefit others, such as our programs for young leaders, like RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, Rotary Youth Exchange, and Interact. Now, the programs for young leaders in Rotary have changed a bit from the perspective of young people being strictly beneficiaries to empowering young people to be leaders in their own right and partners with us in service. As Rotary members, we might be leading and serving those we work with in a business, in a nonprofit, a professional, or another volunteer capacity. We also can be seen serving beneficiaries, serving our community, serving a community on the other side of the world, and even serving our own members. I think leadership has to do with love. It has to do with caring and empathy and perspective. And the letters in the word love guide us on this path. L is for listening, an often underrated skill. To be fully present and to listen to understand rather than listening to respond. O is for being open, being curious, and listening with an open heart and an open mind. V is for values and vision. Staying true to our values in order to be able to make changes that are needed without losing what is most important. And to keep a clear and compelling vision, to be able to articulate our shared vision as we move forward together. Finally, E is for engaging others with energy and enthusiasm, however that shows up for you. Leadership isn't a position or a special gift that only a few people possess. It is an observable, learnable set of skills and practices available to each of us. And we can be the best leaders when we bring our authentic selves to our leadership journey. This includes understanding our own values, our own purpose, our own why. It's a powerful intersection when our organization's purpose and values are aligned with our own purpose and values. And this is an opportunity that I believe Rotary provides for each of us with our global and local network of Rotary members. This is where we can make an incredible difference. This is where we can inspire others and create lasting change. Today, I've shared my view that as Rotary members, each of us are leaders, and that Rotary is first a leadership organization because it brings leaders together to make a difference. One of the significant benefits of Rotary membership is the chance in real time to refine and further develop our own leadership capacity through working with our peers in our club, on projects, in being a mentor or a mentee, and in helping to provide leadership development to others, whether on the job, through education and learning opportunities, or through an invitation to participate in leadership roles in your club, district, or beyond. The leadership development benefit of Rotary has the potential to attract new members to our clubs when they see the amazing value that we offer in leadership, in friendship, and in service. We also share leadership development with young leaders who participate in programs like RILA, Interact, and Rotary Youth Exchange. And we empower these students to gain skills and confidence to be the leaders of today, as well as the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you for being part of Rotary and for being leaders that create positive, lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Now, we have plenty of time for questions and comments from the audience, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And whether you want to take the topic into other areas is fine with me. So I'll turn it over to Lee or whoever's going to handle the Q&A and look forward to our interaction.
Thank you, Vicki. Yes, we have plenty of time here for questions and answers. So if anybody has a question or comments, please raise your hand.
I heard that we might want to talk about world peace, so that's open too.
Quiet group today.
Oh, but in the back here.
Vicki, nice presentation. I'm curious as to whether you have any insights, given your soon to be new duties, on how Rotary's polio efforts are going to be impacted by the lack of effort in our capital.
Thank you for an easy question. I appreciate that. It's interesting, and this ties to leadership, I believe. And I mentioned that polio is one of the things that has placed Rotary on the world stage as a leader. And it's amazing because through our efforts and through our collaboration with our partners in polio eradication, we actually accomplish things that individual governments cannot. And so I just encourage us not to be discouraged with some of the things that we're seeing right now as far as changes in funding. There is a path forward, and we will find it because we are committed to finishing this fight and ending polio. We do have a group of Rotary members who have visited Washington, D.C. and are talking with the different groups to see if we can secure funding in a way that will help. We're seeing this on a worldwide basis where some countries are withdrawing funding, but we're also seeing countries stepping up. Saudi Arabia, for instance, has stepped up with some major funding for polio eradication, when we don't even have Rotary in Saudi Arabia at this point in time. So that's very hopeful. We will find a way, and we need to keep focused on the fact that we can accomplish this. As the leaders we are, as humanitarians as we are, this is important and something that we will complete. So I have no doubt we will do that. There are some challenges. There's challenges with the governments in Pakistan and Afghanistan as well. But we have never allowed a problem or an issue with one party to stop us from accomplishing our mission. I hope that's helpful.
Vicki, this is Lee Rosh, and I wanted you to, if you could, talk a little bit about what the Rotary International efforts are in promoting peace. It's one of the priorities of our organization. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Oh, that's a great topic. So I had the privilege this year of serving on the Rotary Peace Centers Committee, and that is one of our major efforts as an organization to promote peace. So 5 universities that provide master's degree programs around the world and 2 that provide professional certificate programs. Those professional certificate programs are in Uganda, Africa, and in Istanbul, the program that just opened this past February with Stephanie Urchik there with a peace conference. So that's one of the efforts, graduating these, the leaders who will move us forward in peace building. There's about 1,900 Rotary Peace Fellows that have graduated since the program was started. I believe it was in 1999. And it's an amazing program because through this, the individuals who are already involved in peace building in their countries all around the world gain skills to be able to become policymakers. This is the greatest change that I've seen as I get to know some of the peace fellows around the world. They go from running nonprofits of their own or working in a nonprofit or another aspect of peace to being capable of working with their own governments in setting policies within countries to elevate the level of peace. So that's a major one there. We also have a collaborative partnership with the Carter School, which is just starting, and it's going to be really interesting to see what comes of that. And then in your introduction, you mentioned the Positive Peace Activator Program. And so that's a partnership that Rotary has with the Institute for Economics and Peace. And through that program, we train community peace builders who learn about the 8 pillars of positive peace and work with clubs and work with communities to help create conditions where communities thrive. When I think about working to create conditions for individuals and communities to thrive, it almost seems like that's the definition of Rotary. So we are certainly well placed with those type of efforts. It's interesting in Rotary, we don't see peace as some abstract concept. We see it as something we're involved with. And so I always encourage every Rotary member to see themselves as a peace builder in their own family, in their own community. We have the ability to bring diverse perspectives together and get the benefit of different kinds of thinking to find solutions for some of our world's most challenging problems, our community's most challenging problems. And it was already pointed out that there's some real challenges today. There's some real challenges in bringing different perspectives together and having people be able to have that conversation, to be able to understand each other rather than trying to convince each other of your point of view. This goes back to our leadership skills, doesn't it? It goes back to that listening and being able to listen with an open heart and an open mind and be able to move forward in that way. So those are a few of the items of peace building that are going on. When you look at the projects that our clubs are doing, and at a recent peace conference, I used a very simple project that you're probably familiar with as well, and that's a dictionary project, giving dictionaries to third grade students. I used that as an example and worked through the 8 pillars of positive peace. And it's very enlightening to see how much peace building we do with food security programs, with literacy programs, with all the different kinds of programs that we do in our own communities. And using the 8 pillars, we can make those even more robust, even more impactful in peace building. So if you don't have anybody who's a positive peace builder in your area, reach out to me and let's find one, because I think it would be a really positive thing for your clubs and for your area to get more information on those 8 pillars of positive peace if you're not already familiar with them.
Vicki, Andy here, and I just had one question that I was kind of thinking. You've been in Rotary for quite a few years, and I'm wondering.
73, I think it is, yes.
Okay. Tell me about your Rotary aha moment when it kind of was like, okay, I love Rotary.
So I probably, like many of you, I have more than one. My first one happened at a Rotary Youth Leadership Awards camp at a RILA camp. And it was during a process where the campers, and in this case, we do high school juniors are the audience for our RILA camp. I know that in some cases they're different than that, but we had high school juniors. We had about 120 of them at a camp. And on the last day of the camp, we did a process called the board break, which is it's a way for the students to face obstacles that are getting in the way of them achieving their goals and their dreams. And so each of the students gets a board. On one side, they write what they want to achieve, things like going to college, more confidence, they write down what it is that they want to accomplish. On the other side of the board, they write obstacles that are getting in the way of those of achieving those dreams. And often, unfortunately, it's problems in their family or it's lack of trust. It's a really impactful process. And at the end of camp, you see the students with 2 pieces of board like they're the most precious things in the world. So there's 2 concrete blocks. The board goes across the blocks. The students are down on one knee and they break through the board. Well, I mentioned there were 120 kids at the camp this year. And this one girl, Sophie, couldn't break her board. And all the other kids are done. And Sophie's crying. And it's like, okay, what do we do now? And our camp director, he didn't move on. He got down on one knee with Sophie. And he talked to her about how she could break through those obstacles. Because it wasn't about a board to her. And then even more impressive and really amazing was that all of the other students made a big circle around Sophie. And they put their hands up, silent, except for a few encouraging words to her. When she broke that board, it was a success felt by everyone there. And that touched me. It showed me that we can make a difference and we can change a life. And when it changes a life, it changes us. It also certainly had a lot of leadership lessons there, didn't it? I mean, the fact that the kids understood this, Sophie was not a kid that they got along with or didn't understand very well. But when it came down to it, they wanted to help her. They wanted to help her succeed. They learned empathy, and they all left with skills that they might not have gotten any other way. So that was definitely a first aha moment. And I thought I would spend my Rotary life in youth service, because I just loved that impact that we can make with young leaders. And that changed for me when I went on National Immunization Day for polio to Northern India in 2009. And I saw poverty. I saw the needs of people who have nothing. No sanitation, educational system is challenging, health system is challenging. And what I saw was not only the power of our polio eradication program, but I saw the power of Rotary and our foundation in making a difference for people in their lives. And from that experience, I continued my leadership journey in Rotary, because I saw the advantage of being able to come back and share these types of stories with other people. Thank them for everything they're doing to help us change lives, and to invite them to be part of this process and change their own lives in the process. So those are two. Like each of you, I have many more.
One more question here.
We've got time for one more question.
Hi, Vicki. Jerry Arndt here. In my mind, leadership and ethics really go hand in glove. And
Absolutely.
it's getting, again, in my mind, it's getting harder and harder to understand what ethical really means. There's so many components to being ethical. I think that'd be an interesting topic for us to explore as a group and think about what it really does mean to be ethical. And to me, that's a prerequisite to being a good leader.
I would agree. I would agree. And certainly the world needs not only good leaders, but ethical leaders. We might use the word integrity, because that's part of our core values as well. And I think we go back to our four-way test as a really good foundation for helping us be ethical and to have integrity. So building that into any kind of a leadership discussion or leadership program, I think is really valuable. So you're right, Jerry. Thank you. Thank you for that question. Could I just finish with
Absolutely.
all right. So I just wanted to end and say that leadership is a journey, not a destination. And we can enhance and refine our leadership skills with attention and effort. We can add the ethics and integrity like we just got with that last question. The benefit of us working on our own leadership skills, it's a benefit to us, it's a benefit to everyone around us. And I just want to end with saying, particularly if we lead with love, listening with an open heart and open mind, staying true to our values, keeping a clear vision, and engaging others with energy and enthusiasm. So again, I want to thank you for being part of Rotary, a leadership organization that brings business, professional, and other community leaders together to form friendships, to exchange ideas on how to make our communities stronger, and then who get things done as people of action. Thank you so much. It's been such a delight to be with you today.
Thank you so much, Vicki, for your message today. I think there was a lot we can absolutely take away from that as far as ways we can improve within our club. We're lucky to have a couple future presidents with us today, and I'm sure they took copious notes on things that we can do here to grow. But thank you again so much for joining us, Vicki.